Hello students, and welcome to your unit, Athletics and Academics. I hope you enjoy it. This is the topic that you chose. Okay, so let's go ahead and get right into it. Let's start off with some objectives first and foremost. Okay, so number 1, conduct short research projects based on focused questions, demonstrating understanding of the subject under investigation. Okay? So we will be conducting a short research project this week. You will need to gather relevant information from multiple print and digital sources, assess the credibility and accuracy of each source, and integrate the information while avoiding plagiarism. Always avoiding plagiarism, right? We want to give credit where credit is due. Lastly, for this slide, you will need to draw on evidence from literary or informational texts to support analysis, reflection, and research. As a second set of objectives, I would also like you to consider the following. You will need to present information, findings, and supporting evidence such that listeners can follow the line of reasoning and the organization, development, and style are appropriate to task, purpose, and audience. You will also need to make strategic use of digital media and visual displays of data to express information and enhance understanding of presentations. Adapt speech to a variety of contexts and communicative tasks, demonstrating command of formal English when indicated or appropriate. So as we go throughout the week, we will return to these objectives and try to unravel them a little bit more each time. But for the time being, I would like you to consider these as the outcomes for the week. So the guiding question of our unit this week is going to be the following. How do we make school as cool as sports? How do we make school as cool as sports? This week we will explore the connections between these two realities in the lives of students in school and beyond. I think it's very important because these are two realities that greatly impact students' lives, and I want you to take a deeper look at both of them, school and athletics. So let's start with a little activity. The activity is called 10 Things. I would like you to take out a piece of paper and on one side write academics and on the other side write athletics, and then write the first 10 things that come to mind when you think of academics, and then write the first 10 things that come to mind when you think of athletics. So go ahead and pause the video now and do that. Let's go ahead and take a look at what some of the other periods came up with. Here's period 2, for example. 4. And so on. How did you do? Did you come up with some of these same words? I hope so. Or maybe you came up with some that are not even on these lists. Let's go ahead and move on to the next part of the presentation. So day 1. This is the question that I really would like you to dive into on day 1. The first question was kind of like the guiding question for the overall unit, but today let's ask ourselves, what gets more community approval and attention, academics or athletics? So if that's the question, here's another supplementary question. Why, in the face of apparent failure, do you continue to come back day after day, week after week, month after month to improve your athletic abilities? What is it about sports that makes you work so hard to put in the long-term commitment necessary for success? I would argue that you come back because it's fun. It is engaging because you use your mind and body. You can monitor your own progress, adjusting your attempts to match your assessment. It is connected to your interests. So let's take a look at adjusting your attempts to match your assessment. That's kind of a wordy section there. Basically, as you are going through the process, you can see where you made errors and adjust them on the spot. Now, let's move into the next question when it comes to academics. Why don't you persevere in the classroom then? Why do you give up as soon as you encounter any academic difficulty? In this instance, I would argue it's because you don't think school is fun. As a student, you seldom assess yourself. The teacher is the one who calls all the shots. What you are asked to learn is not connected to your interests. Okay, so we're going to pause there for a second and let's get into the assignment for today. In the spirit of athletics, I'm going to ask you to get into teams and choose a team name. There needs to be 5 members in your team. In your team, you need to choose a sport, a team, and a player. So for instance, you could choose hockey as your sport, you could choose the Los Angeles Lakers as your team, and you could choose Mike Trout as your player. So it does not have to be the same sport for all of them, each category. Lastly, I need you to start choosing videos to make your presentation more interesting. You will have a 6-minute video time limit, so you need to start emailing me those links to your team's videos today. All video will need to be approved on Tuesday and Wednesday. What we're working towards as the end result is a 10-minute presentation where your team will get in front of the class and teach us all about your sport, your team, and your player. Last but not least, let's not forget to give credit where credit is due. Some of those very thought-provoking questions were brought to you by Multiplication is for White People, Raising Expectations for Other People's Children by Lisa Delpit. Okay, that concludes today's presentation. Look forward to tomorrow's lecture.